I came to the realization that owning a corner unit is nice in theory, but when it comes to maintenance, it's an absolute pain.
You mean here?
For me at one of the investment properties.
Floral, yeah.
Floral.
Yeah,
So
doing the grass.
last week. So I'm doing a drive-by of the neighborhood, and I see everyone has immaculate yards, front yard, backyard.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God, our weeds are coming out. I don't have a lawnmower.
Man, after this, I literally have 3 lawns to cut.
Yes.
I'm trying to figure out, in Ajax, they left a lawnmower. So I'm like, cool, I'm going to go see if that works. But same thing, got to go to Home Depot, get a weed puller because I got more dandelions than anybody. But no, I know. And Madison doesn't have a lawnmower there, so I'm going to have to like bring one over. And again, they have like wicked gardens there and all that. Yeah. So I'm like, geez, I got to.
So I cut on last Friday, 3 properties I cut grass at. So I spent 9 a.m. till 3 p.m. cutting grass.
Jeez.
Yeah. But hey, real estate, right?
Gotta do what you gotta do, I guess.
Do what you gotta do.
I'm gonna be doing the same. Literally, that's in my calendar what I'm doing after this.
And then as soon as I finished, our neighbor next to us has a property management company. Guy pulls up. I was like, hey, give me your business card. Let me figure out what your cost is.
Yeah. No, I think that's smart. But it's tricky when you're flipping too, though, right? Because you're like, you got to do it, or someone's got to do it, right?
Yeah.
It's one of those jobs where it's like, do you hire it out for like a one-time cut? It's just, strange, but.
Awesome. Well, welcome to our podcast. Another episode coming to you live this week. We're going to be talking about some interesting topics. How's it going? How you been?
Good, man. Good. Yeah. Looking forward to it this week. We've had a bit of time off. We're back in the Habibi household. We're still on lockdown and 6 feet apart we are, of course.
6 feet apart, yes. Stay back. Yeah.
No, we won't measure, but.
Yeah.
No, things are going well. How about you? I know you had you sold your flip last night.
Yes,
Congrats.
Yes, sold a flip. Thank you. That went well. So I actually sold it for more than I had projected when I purchased. So my analysis was, a 675. I was thinking I would sell at 675 and I would be comfortable. And we sold at 725. So very happy.
Quick closing?
Firm, quick close, yeah.
What kind of profit are you looking at there?
Around
couple
bucks, yeah. I think it's going to be around, after all my commissions, land transfer tax, I think we'll be around 110 in that range.
It's all right.
Which is good.
I mean, it's good. It's amazing.
It is, but you kind of.
But what?
I don't know.
You made $110,000. Are you kidding me?
I'm just looking at. I know there's another.
And how many months? How many months was that hold?
2 months. 2 months.
This was the property that you were bidding with my mom against too, and you outbid my mom. That was still.
It's pissing me off a little bit because I know that there's another street in Oshawa with similar type of properties. Mm-hmm. That street has always been around 50 to 70K more, and I don't know why.
What street are you talking about?
Vancouver. Crescent.
Oh, yeah.
Vancouver's selling like.
It's arguably a better location.
It is, yeah.
You could argue that. I mean,
yeah, I'll give it that. It's better location, but maybe like 3 kilometers apart, 5 kilometers apart.
Yeah, closer near to the mall though, near 401. Yeah, you're kind of right on the border of Whitby there. If you go down Gibb over there, yeah. No, it's I don't know. It is what it is. Again, we've talked about it. You've had the bidding war. You had people run up the price. That's as high as you could get them.
And we sold for 20K more than the previous sale on the street. Mm-hmm. So there was a sale on last week for 700K, and we went 20K more.
Yeah. So that's a win. 110K. I think a lot of people would be happy with that in 2 months.
Yeah.
Good stuff, man. Yeah, I was just going to mention that. I knew they heard about it. So.
Is that that's what's happening? Oh, nice. Okay. Cool. Interesting. So stay at home order till June 2nd. Hey, man, I don't know. Do we sacrifice 2 weeks now or get a month of summer and then another month lockdown?
Don't get me started.
I say 2 weeks.
This podcast is going to go off the rails here. We need to stick to real estate, trust me, or I'm going to be lose some subscribers real quick here. We're going to go back down to 0. Not that we have a lot right now, but hey, we're working on it, right? We're
getting there slowly.
It's a marathon, not a sprint.
So that's it. I had, what else did I do this week? I had one listing that we couldn't sell.
Yeah, so that's interesting.
Yeah, so I had legal duplex in Oshawa, semi, 2+2, the back split, really good rents, $3,500 rents. We got a pretty good offer, but it wasn't a firm offer.
I'll tell you guys right now. I went and showed this property. There was a tarantula in the basement. I'm not kidding. A tarantula in the basement. Yeah. I called him right away. I said, bro, you got to warn the agents about the tarantula in the basement. Come on. Yeah. That's why it didn't sell.
I knew you had a fear, so I wanted to let it be an unknown for you.
My hands are sweating even as we're talking
thinking about it.
Like, that thing was real. I was like, the tenant had the tarantula in the basement. I'm like, Jesus.
Yeah, interesting tenant down there, but
yeah, the market's been strange though, eh? Yeah. There's some things that are still going crazy, multiple offers, other things that are struggling. I'm noticing like full fixer-uppers are going like crazy. Like people want a rental right now or something with lumber prices up, with everything that's happening. It just doesn't make sense. And
well, I'll give you two quick examples. I checked out two properties in Whitby. Property one, downtown Whitby, 130 by 245.
Wow.
Deep lot. So severance potential there. Listed for $999. Absolute teardown. Can't even live in it right now. Sold for $1.3 million.
Okay. So probably land value, right?
Yeah, land value. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Two lots for it, maybe three.
Yeah.
If they're looking at three, yeah.
And then another one in Whitby, downtown Whitby, corner unit, 66 by 130, listed for $750, sold for $820. And again, like I looked at that for a potential duplex, and it just wasn't the right setup for a duplex. Staircase, weird staircase. I mean, you could do it, but
there was one up on 85 Pontiac that I liked, and only got two offers, and sold for $675. Which, you know, I'm trying to target around the $650 mark, but those were going over $7.
Yeah.
A little while ago, so they've definitely softened up a little bit, and that would have been a great legal 2 unit, great property. Needed a lot of work though, full reno, but yeah, it seems like the houses that are needing full renos or the houses that are turnkey are having no issues, but the ones that are somewhere in between, or if there's tenant concerns, that are struggling. So,
well, I'm curious to see the one private sale that we did a couple weeks ago on Nelson. That's going to be coming up for sale, hitting the MLS as is. So that would be a really good comparison to see how that does on the open market.
I've been doing more commercial stuff, and there was a beer store, 1.5 million, really good income. Cap rate was 5.8%, I think, and 6 offers.
Pretty high, no?
6 offers on it right away.
Yeah.
Yep.
Do you know, has it sold?
It's conditional sold. They were going to be buying, I guess there was a couple others, so someone was kind of doing a package deal, but really hot. And there's another plaza up on Conlin by the university with RBC Bank and all that, and they're holding back offers till Friday.
Wow. So you've been doing a bit more commercial stuff, and in the commercial space, you're noticing you're able to purchase with a long due diligence period. Is that what you're noticing right now?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Conditional periods are okay. That's not changing even in multiple offer situations, because you still need environmentals. You still need to make sure, you can get financing on them, and building inspections, everything are still happening, which is nice, but there's still lots of interest. There's lots of people that are, looking to buy these properties, and people are trying to put their money somewhere, right? Like residential's gone up so high. People are naturally shifting over to commercial. So
it's interesting though. I mean, it's, I think when the pandemic started, there was a lot of conversation on commercial taking a big hit, right? Everyone's like, oh my God, commercial, there's going to be an opportunity to buy commercial here. I think
office still is. I think office is still, the market's still soft on that.
Interesting you say that, because yesterday on our office sales call, I was listening to some person speak who has a close friend who works for Enbridge in their real estate group. And he mentioned that they're doing an analysis on how much space they need in order to bring everyone back. Right, to bring staff back, social distancing. They're calculating, the efficiency rates of elevators. How many people can we fit in an elevator? How long is it going to take to, if there's a fire, like all this stuff, right? And the number turns out to be, going from, let's say right now they're at 20 properties, they need to increase that to like 50 to 60 properties in order to make their whole headcount, their whole office space, personnel.
So they're talking about expanding.
They're talking about they need more real estate.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I would think it was the opposite. I would think people are saying, hey, let's analyze, how much office space we truly need and try to cut the fat a little bit.
I agree. But then let's talk about, companies where you truly can't be working from home, manufacturing, for example. So, you work in an auto plant and, let's say the 6 feet is going to be real and it's going to be going forward.
Yeah.
You have people, you have safety lines, you have machines. So now you got to start expanding. You need more real estate.
Yep.
The other thing in real estate that's been crazy and in high demand is storage facilities.
Industrial in general. Anything industrial, distribution centers, anything.
Yeah.
Oh, that's going crazy. That market is wild. And I think retail is as well, but it's still an interesting space. Multifamily going wild as well, with rents doing what they're doing. And
yeah, I love it. I mean, commercial, like you start talking about all these companies, kind of becoming smart and more with the 21st century of, going into online shopping, going into online deliveries and such. So now you need real estate to house everything.
Yeah.
Everyone's getting into drop shipping.
Yep.
So there's going to be a big boom there. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Awesome. So we got some interesting topics to talk about today.
Yeah, so that's a good little kind of market overview. We'll get into a couple hot topics we've been wanting to discuss. So the first question that I'll throw out to you is, we're starting to see more homes sell or listed, not sell, but listed for $1. And it's kind of an interesting thought process, because right now people are underlisting their homes intentionally by $100,000, $150,000. And then, of course, driving traffic, creating a bidding war, the strategy you and I have been doing for a while, not just us, everybody in Ontario has been doing for a while, and works really well. It's very great for the sellers, horrible for the buyers. Buyers can't stand it. It's blind. It's tough to pull comps. It makes it really challenging. Not every sales rep has the same process when they do this as well, but we're allowed to do this. So I guess the question is, should you be allowed to list for $1?
Yeah, I mean, my argument to that is, what does that achieve? You list at $1 and you say, agents, throw it at me until something sticks.
So you like it or you don't like it?
I don't like it. I just think, you're perhaps giving false hope to someone. Now, if an agent's doing their homework and they know what the comparables are, they'll be able to come somewhat close to it, right? I think my argument would be, we know right away certain group of people or certain groups are maxed at a certain dollar amount. Are you giving those people hope, and are you getting lowball offers? Whereas right now, when you list at X amount, if someone's only qualified till $500K and a house is listed at $599, they're likely not offering on that property.
Okay, yeah, I hear what you're saying. I'm saying, I think it does the same when you give false hope $100,000 underneath, and at least at this point, at least if it's listed at $1, people go, okay, we 100% know they're not taking $1. Right. I find the problem is, even when you list at, say, $499 and you really want, $600, $650, people still go in their mind, well, maybe they'll take $500,000. Right. And the problem is like, then you get 15 offers at $505, $510. And you and I both know, the sellers or the listing sales rep knows, it doesn't matter. That won't sell at $5. Right. But it essentially gives that false hope. I think everyone should either do one or the other, either list at $1 or not hold back offers. If you're holding back offers, it's at $1. It has to be. So then everyone goes, okay, this one's holding back offers. You have no guidance towards thinking like, maybe they'll take $1.50. Everyone's going to know for sure. Let's do our due diligence. What's being sold in the area? I had someone reach out to me. I'll give you an example of a rural property listed at $699, 4-bedroom rural property, gorgeous. They're thinking, wow, if we went for like 8, we could get it. And I'm like, okay. And I'm looking up the camera. I'm like, no, this is going over 9. It sold for 1.1 million. But again, I'm having people reach out to me, which I love. I'm like, great, this is fantastic. But, even for them, they thought, hey, even at $100,000 over, we have a shot. They literally had no shot.
Right. So you're saying either list at $1 and let people do their homework and submit their offers, or don't hold back offers.
Mm-hmm.
Offers anytime, and that means list at what you want to sell for.
Yeah. It's kind of like let people know that the game is there. And I always do that on my social media, right? Like I'll say, I'm listed at $499, but holding back offers.
Hint, hint.
Hint, hint, like, we're listed low. Yeah. My sellers wouldn't take this price, right? Yeah. And, people go, why don't you list at the price? Like, well, this is the game, guys. This is what we're allowed to do in Ontario, which I agree. It's not fair for buyers, but,
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I had the same conversation yesterday when someone offered on a property and was like, we're giving you $120K over.
Yeah.
I'm like, over asking price, but asking price doesn't mean anything right now.
There you go, right? And it's like, well, it doesn't matter, right? So it might as well have been $1, right? It might as well have been $750,000 over. There's no difference, right?
I just don't think that our population and our consumers are ready for that mindset, because typically, is a $1 home a new thing? No, it's currently happening in Europe. You can buy a house for $1, but there are restrictions as to what you need to do, right? In Canada, it's a completely brand new concept. I think it, perhaps starts playing mind tricks in people's mind. We know that the older agents are not going to love this at all. It's going to frustrate a lot
Yep.
people.
It already is though. The whole system is frustrating
I agree.
people and including you and I, right? So it's like, dang,
I think my argument would be, at listing at $1, I'm wasting, or potentially I'm either wasting someone else's time or someone else is going to be wasting my time. Whereas when there's a range that I have, I'm eliminating, let's say, 30 to 40% of potential buyers.
Well, and this is why I don't think people, and again, it takes away that if you list at $1, what it takes away are those people that go, I wonder if no other offers come in, we'll get it at list price. It takes that away, which I think is good for the buyer and bad for the seller, right? The seller, like I would never list at $1 representing a seller because I feel like it's not going to represent the seller to the best of their abilities, right? I want those people that assume or think that, their offers could get accepted at asking price when really we all know that it won't. But they still come and they still offer.
Yeah.
Right? And it's just like, okay, throw those 10 aside. They have no shot.
Right.
Right.
And I guess we do see a lot of the $1 listings in the commercial space.
Yeah. And land
so
sometimes
there,
too.
Right? Yeah.
And that's more so because they're tough to value though. Right. That's more so because it's like, hey, how do we value this property? Instead of, hey, let's run up the price. Because the value is just more subjective as to what the builder wants to do with it or what they want to go do with it. But it's interesting to see. So then that kind of leads to the next kind of topic, which is interesting, is do you believe in open bidding or closed bidding? Open bidding being Australia has this, and there isn't a brokerage in Toronto doing this where, kind of like what type of auction is that called? Where you see everyone else's bids.
Right. An open auction?
What's the name of that? The open, or when you see it with in golf tournaments and stuff like that, where you can.
Where you write
everyone's bids, right?
Yeah,
and you can just go up and be like, okay, wow, the previous bid, silent bid, it's a silent bid, but it's open, right?
Right.
So I think real estate could be like that or should be like that. It's currently closed, meaning we're not allowed to disclose anybody else's offers. You're not allowed to say, oh, you're in second place, even though this does happen.
Yeah.
You're in second place. You need to come up 10K.
Yeah. I mean, in my opinion, I would like to see the open bidding process, because why is it that in life you can purchase literally everything open bid style except for real estate? You can buy a car open bid style. You can go into an auction and purchase fine art in front of everyone, and your dollar amount's known.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything else in life that you purchase blindly?
Yeah, it's true where you don't know the other competition. You don't know what everyone else is offering. I don't know. I don't think there is.
It's just real estate, right? And I feel like the real estate industry is such a powerful industry for two reasons. I think one, there hasn't yet been an industry disruptor, right? Similar to other industries, hotel, taxi, car service has been disrupted immensely. And it's not like it happened 2 years ago. It's happened, 7 to 10 years ago. And the same thing hasn't happened with real estate. They've tried, but the conversion rates have been very low. There's that. And then all those companies that have come and disrupted, they have an open bidding system. So what your Airbnb is going to be, what your Turo, your car rental is going to be. But in real estate, there hasn't been a disruptor, and the bidding process has not changed.
Yeah, and I mean, I think it's just so good for sellers, right? And so tough for buyers. But you think the buyer complaints would have had some government intervention or some policymaker come up and change it, or lawmaker change it to say that, hey, this shouldn't be done. But I guess the opposite side of that is privacy, right? Not disclosing other offers to other people. But, to me, you should still be able to tell, the agent, hey, this is my client wants this amount, instead of saying, hey, this person offered this amount. Right. That's the thinking behind it. For me, I understand,
Yeah. But I guess with that approach, are you doing service to your selling clients? Because if you don't disclose an amount, then, hey, Wild Wild West, like let's drive the price up.
Well, and that's it, right? And
but let me ask you this. Is the bidding process the problem for increased prices? Or is it our landscape? Is it, the limited land that we have? Is it the abroad investors coming in?
I think it's both. I think there's a combination of both, but the bidding process definitely, what was your highest offer yesterday before you drove up the price?
It's probably a bad example, but my highest price and my second highest was $2,000 difference.
No, but what number was it?
707.
And you ended up at what price?
725.
Wow. That's a big jump, is it not? You know what I mean?
Of course, yeah.
And you being the seller, you could say, I want more money, right? Drive it up. And again, there's, what is that, $18,000 more that price went up, where if it was just like a silent auction, it would have been, you would have got 707, right? That would have been it. It would have been final, right? So.
Yeah, and I think it really depends on what side of the, spectrum are you sitting on. Of course, if you're a seller, hey, blind bid, let's go.
Yeah. When I had a buyer lose out, we offered 145. This was a condo in Belleville. The winning was 163. And after the fact, I told my client, and he's like, well, I would have paid 165. And I'm like, true, right? And that sales rep didn't come back to us, didn't give us a second opportunity, didn't give us any chance. We were just blind bidding. So, of course, we're trying to get it as cheap as possible. But, ultimately someone would have paid more for that, right? And this is the problem I find too with this bidding process, is that not every sales rep does it the same way.
Right.
And some can be, and the real problem, if we want to dig into it, is that it allows for corruption. It allows for double ending. It allows for the sales rep to kind of pick who they want to work with. And even though this shouldn't happen, it does.
Yeah, all the time.
And it's so it just leads to more problems, right?
Yeah, I agree. I just like to. I've always liked to operate on fair grounds, whether it's on the construction side, paying people for the services they do, and getting services for myself. I like to be fair. And I think
there you go. There's a good example.
Yeah.
Of construction being a blind bidding process.
Yeah.
Technically, contractors are coming in and giving you a quote and not knowing what the other contractors are offering to do the job. You're saying, well, you tell me what you'd pay.
Right.
And you're kind of trying to get the lowest of that, right? Is that fair? Should you do a silent bid to see who's going to go lowest? But yeah, I mean, because the other caveat is not just, it's just not always price, right? Size of deposit, closing. In construction, it's quality of work. When can you start, right? There's other terms to the agreement that, come into play.
Yeah. But again, construction, another bidding process, and it's in the real estate industry. You see it? Can't get away from it.
Here we are talking about how you just made $110,000.
You can go to a lawyer and you know what your fee is going to be.
I know, man. It's and I do think the landscape and the politics and the policies have made an impact on this market. And I mean, we're up 40% year over year. I don't think anybody can see this continuing to happen, or everyone at this point is going, okay, when are we correcting? When are we, pulling back? There's no way we go up in this same pace. Yeah. So
speaking of correcting, thoughts?
It's coming.
It's coming.
It's coming. It not until they raise interest rates and not until they stop printing money.
You know what? Let me say this. I remember when I joined the brokerage a couple years ago, and when I started attending our Wednesday meetings or Tuesday sales meetings, there was a time when you and I were talking and we were saying, oh my God, here we go. It's going to correct. Vancouver's selling below assessed values, sell, buy the dip. And no one bought when we were telling them to buy. And now people are starting to buy now.
I know. I hear you, man. It's, that was right when GM announced that they were
correct.
They were out of Oshawa. I know. I remember it. And, I remember I had the wholesaler, and he had this property in Oshawa for $410.
Yeah.
Now it's worth $7 as is, like $8 if you did renos, $9 if you legalized it. And again, that was a couple of years ago, right? It's been crazy what's happening. And I'm sure we're going to look back at these. I'm kind of glad we're doing these podcasts because we can watch these and be like, oh my God, remember we were talking about we made $110,000 on a flip in 2 months and a month. And
let me tell you this though. And since we're talking about flips, I have a friend of mine who he's done well for himself, and he'll be the first one to say he's made a lot of his money in real estate. Principal residence, buying, renovating, and selling. So a bit older than us, started a long time ago, started it when he was 21, 22. So this would have been in 2007, 2008. So recently made a pretty good purchase on a street in Cochrane. So bought a property as is for 1.6. Okay. He's in around 400K renos. And he's confident that he can sell for $3 million. I walked the property today, and I said, $3 million guaranteed this is sold.
Really?
2 pools.
Come on.
2 pools in the backyard, ravine lot.
Jeez.
Probably 5,000 square foot. But what I'm trying to
get listing or what?
He's a part-time agent.
Oh, come on.
So what I'm trying to say is that even on the flip side, so when he purchased this, when we were talking, he's like, I don't think I'm going to make money on this, and I'm probably going to have to move in and live here by myself. In any case, great house. Love it. But this has happened twice to him now. The last one was Corvinelli, the house in Brooklyn that I sold last year. Same guy. And when he bought Corvinelli in Brooklyn, he's like, I'm not going to make money on this. I think
everyone's made
400K
yeah, everyone's made money on now.
And this one, he's banking on making about $1 million on it. Yeah. But again, like, I think there's also different levels to the game when you get into the higher end stuff, which I think you're probably going to see a bit of that with your Ajax property. Profits get bigger, but you need more cash to play. Right. So I think I would like to hit that level next, but there's a bit of time.
Yeah. I mean, the problem too, we talk about, if there is a correction, it's going to happen in those expensive markets first too, right? Exactly, that's what corrects first. So that's what worries me about Ajax, right? Is that it's, it's not a $400,000 or $500,000 bungalow in Oshawa, which I don't see any risk in. I was talking with someone over the weekend, showing them some houses, and to me, no risk in those burr strategy properties like your 2 on Central Park, and like those things are like safe as can be. But we talked about the Lukes and the Ajax, the flips. Luke wasn't even risky for you either.
No, it wasn't. It wouldn't be a property that I would want to hold on to in my portfolio.
The fact that you made though $110,000 in that price point is what's impressive.
Yeah.
Right. $110,000 isn't that impressive for a, $1.6 million house, right? Yeah. It's kind of like, well, that's what you should have made. But, for an entry level home in 2 months, that's amazing, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you buy another one or what?
Yeah, I'm open to it. Let's go. Let's go.
All right. We had one more topic we wanted to discuss, kind of getting more into the rental market and that. Cash for keys. So cash for keys. The question is it worth it? Cash for keys is essentially, right now we're seeing a lot of properties where the tenants are paying below market rent and trying to get them out via cash for keys, which is simply getting them to sign an N11, which is an agreement for both parties to end the tenancy, and you give them cash, right? We've done that with a couple properties for clients where we've helped them with that, and they've had success with it. And I was having a conversation with someone yesterday who had the ability to move into the property and do an N11, an N12, right? Which then moves into it. They have to stay into it for a year. And so the question was, if it would cost $10,000 for both tenants to get them out for cash for keys, or 1 month's rent, which would only be $2,500, is it worth doing the cash for keys?
So do cash for keys get both tenants out?
For 10 grand, five each.
10 grand. Or
have to live in the property for a year and do an N12 and give them 1 month's rent, which is $2,500.
Right. I mean, I think it comes down to what are you trying to do? What are your timelines? In my opinion, I'm all for the cash for keys, assuming we're not talking like $20,000.
Okay, we could be.
We could be. At that point, it's a different conversation.
This is the risk, though, right? When you buy a property, you don't know. Like, you take the risk. If you're taking the risk for cash for keys, you don't know the number. Right. It could be a home run deal where they only want $1,000, but it could crush you if they want $20,000.
Right. To me, cash for keys allows you to unlock the future potential of the property essentially right away.
Yeah.
They're out, you can do whatever you want, get your permits, start your work, sell it as is, and recognize a bigger profit.
Yeah.
Whereas if someone's occupying the space, you don't necessarily have the ability to unlock the potential, but maybe what's in your favor is market keeps growing, you're building equity, and you get to unlock it at a future point in time.
Yeah.
But are you tying up money that's just sitting there and not doing anything for you?
Mm-hmm.
So I've always liked it because it puts you in control and it lets you decide what you want to do with the property.
Yeah.
Now, to our earlier point, if it's, we're getting into 20, 30K, that's a different conversation.
I know. And this is the gamble, right? Or what if you, the tenant then refutes and says, hey, no, I'm not leaving, or, something like that as well.
And oftentimes I think you're trying to do some sort of due diligence behind the seller's back, whether it's
doesn't have to be. You can do a conditional.
You can do a conditional, but you can do a conditional. Or I've seen people just show up at the property and start talking to the tenants to see what it would take them to leave, and they give you a dollar amount, and word travels fast. And
we don't advocate for this.
We don't have a case for this. I've never done it.
Okay.
But I know that a lot of people are resorting to cash for keys because again,
they have no choice, right? They have no choice but to. So it's interesting. It's interesting because it's an investment strategy that can work and be a great way to get a property for under market value, as we've seen. So it's kind of something I feel like investors need to get comfortable with.
Yeah.
And need to wrap their head around. Right now, we're seeing The properties that are vacant are just going for too much.
Yeah. Is it legal?
Well, it's legal. It's just not sanctioned or protected from the LTB. Like the LTB is not, the N11 form is simply just an agreement between the landlord and the tenant, right? But the actual cash part of it,
there's no legal grounds.
There's a separate contract, right? You could write up a separate contract and say, yeah, here's what's going to happen. I usually just say, hey, we'll show up on the day of closing with the cash, with a check. You have the keys, give us back the keys, and all your stuff is out and it's vacant, and you get the cash at that time, right? So then they feel like they still have a bit of control because they still have the unit and the keys and can just say no and go lock the door and stay inside, So, even with that N11 signed, I still am cautious about it. And, it can be a good strategy, but, my thinking is like, could you do an N13 or N12? N13 to renovate, right? Say you're going to renovate and it's much cheaper, right? Which is a common strategy that people have used. So
now what's the catch with the N13 once you're done with the project?
Yeah, the catch is that you have to, offer the same unit back to them when it's fully renovated at the same rental rate, which is tricky. But what happens is with the N13, the tenant gives you their address and contact info. You contact them. If they don't respond, you've done your part, right? So a lot of landlords are banking on the tenants not responding or not coming back,
right?
Which is risky, but cheaper.
And what's the other option?
The N12 moving
N12,
into it.
right.
Say you're going to move into it, and some people truly do move into it, and then say, and then move out after a month or so, and then just re-rent it, right? So,
right.
A couple other options, but the other ones are riskier and more illegal, in my opinion. Not illegal, just immoral, maybe. At least the N11, you're saying, hey, I'm giving you cash, and we have a mutual agreement.
Yeah.
So,
no, yeah, I agree. Well, I think the good thing about this is that there are options, and one of the options is money talks, and oftentimes I've had to deal with it once this year, and luckily it worked in our favor. And I think you've done it too, right? You've done cash for keys too this year.
Yep. And we needed to get the tenant wanted an extension too, and we no problem gave it to them, and they got out, no problem. Got the property under market value, or now clients now getting it cleaned up.
Right. Sweet. Good deal.
Cool, man. Anything else you want to talk about this week?
That's all.
Right on.
Well, thank you everyone for watching yet another episode. We appreciate it. If you have any questions, comments, please put them below. I know we spent some time talking about the forms that you can use as a landlord to get some of your tenants out. If you have questions about those, feel free to comment them below as well, and we'll respond to those. And if you have any topics that you'd like to hear us talk about, definitely put those in the comment section as well. And please remember to like and subscribe to our channel so you can stay up to date with our newest and latest videos.